The golden chandelier shimmered above Richard Blackwell's head, its glow trembling as though it too could sense the storm brewing in the billionaire's chest. His voice thundered through the marble walls of his mansion like a violent echo that refused to die. "You ruined me," Richard roared, his hand trembling as he pointed toward the woman standing silently before him. His eyes burned with fury and betrayal. "I pitied you. I treated you like a human being when the rest of the world only called you a servant. I gave you money, clothes, a roof over your head. And you," his voice cracked with rage, "you betrayed me. How could a poor maid like you bring a man like me to his knees?" The woman he accused was Emma, a black African maid who had worked in Richard's household for years. She had always kept her head down, quietly sweeping the marble floors, serving dinner, folding his expensive suits. To the outside world, she was invisible. But to Richard, she had once been something more, someone he had trusted in ways he had trusted no one else. Richard's chest rose and fell as he fought to keep his composure. "I'll take you to court. I'll make sure you rot in prison for what you've done. I'll call the police right now." Emma's lips trembled, but her eyes, deep, steady, and unreadable, did not waver. "You think you know the whole story, sir," she said softly. "But you don't." Those words sent a chill down Richard's spine. Something in her tone wasn't fear, it was certainty, and that terrified him more than anything. Richard Blackwell was America's richest billionaire. His empire stretched across banking, technology, real estate, and oil. Men trembled in his presence. Women admired his wealth and charm. Yet, this night, in the silence of his lavish mansion, he found himself undone not by a rival businessman, not by a hostile takeover, but by the very maid who had dusted his furniture and polished his floors. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" Richard growled, pacing the room like a caged lion. "My fortune, my reputation, my life's work, all stolen. Signed away, transferred into your name. How is that even possible? You tricked me. You cheated me. You played me for a fool." Emma finally raised her head. Her dark eyes locked with his, and for a moment, Richard almost stepped back. There was no guilt in her gaze. There was no fear. Only a strange, haunting sorrow. "You think I wanted this?" Emma asked. Her voice was calm but heavy, like the weight of an untold secret pressing down on every word. Richard laughed bitterly. "Don't play the victim. You wanted everything. My money, my name, my empire. Well, congratulations, Emma. You got it. But mark my words. By tomorrow morning, I'll have the police dragging you out of this house in chains." The flashbacks came uninvited. Richard remembered the day he had first hired Emma. It was raining outside, and she had stood at his door, her clothes soaked, her shoes torn, but her back straight. "Please, sir," she had said in a quiet voice. "I need work. Any work." Something about her dignity in the face of desperation had touched him. Unlike other maids who begged and groveled, Emma had stood tall. That day, Richard had given her not just a job, but also a room in his mansion. Over time, he had grown used to her presence. She wasn't just a maid, she became his confidant. She knew when he was angry, when he was lonely, when he couldn't sleep. She had even once told him, "You trust too many people in your business, sir. One day, it will cost you." Now, staring at her across the lavish living room, Richard realized how true those words had become. Only, it was she who had cost him everything. "I treated you like family," Richard spat, his voice cracking. "I defended you when the other staff mocked you. I gave you Christmas presents, bonuses, respect. And this," his fists clenched, "this is how you repay me?" Emma took a slow breath. "You still don't understand. You think I took your fortune for myself. But the truth is, the fortune was never truly yours." Richard froze. "What the hell are you talking about?" Emma stepped closer, her voice low, deliberate. "Do you remember your father's will? Do you remember the conditions tied to your inheritance?" Richard's blood ran cold. He hadn't thought about his father's will in years. All he remembered was that his father, the late Harold Blackwell, had left him the empire under strict conditions. But Harold had been a complicated man, one who always preached about humility, honesty, and loyalty. Emma's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. "Your father trusted me, more than he trusted you. He gave me documents you never knew existed. He told me that if you ever lost yourself to greed, if you ever crossed the line between man and monster, the empire would no longer belong to you. It would go to the one person who had remained loyal." Richard staggered back as though struck. "That's a lie." Emma reached into her pocket and pulled out a folded envelope, old, creased, but sealed with the Blackwell family crest. Richard's knees weakened as she placed it on the table between them. "I didn't betray you, Richard," Emma whispered. "Your father did." The silence that followed was deafening. Richard's mind raced. Memories of his father's cryptic words returned. "Wolf is a test, son. Fail it, and you will lose everything." Richard had always brushed those warnings aside. He thought money made him untouchable. But now, as the truth unraveled before him, he realized he had been living in a fortress built on conditions he had ignored. "You expect me to believe my father left you? A maid, control of everything?" Richard's voice shook. Emma nodded slowly. "I was never just a maid, Richard. I was your father's eyes and ears. I saw the way you treated people. I saw how you used your power to destroy competitors, to silence voices, to crush anyone who stood in your way. And when you crossed the line, your father's will came into effect. Everything transferred to me." Richard's fist slammed against the glass table, shattering it. "Lies. You manipulated him. You twisted his mind in his final days." Tears welled in Emma's eyes, but she didn't back down. "Your father loved you. He wanted to believe you would change. But deep down, he knew, and now you know too." Richard grabbed his phone with shaking hands. "Enough. I'm calling the police. I'll sue you for fraud. I'll have every lawyer in this country tear you apart." But Emma didn't flinch. "Call them. The documents are legal. The transfer is complete. Even your lawyers can't undo what your father put in place. The more you fight me, Richard, the more the world will learn the truth, that you weren't worthy of your own empire." Her words cut deeper than any blade. Richard's entire life, his identity, his pride, it was all unraveling. He sank into the leather chair, his face pale. You've destroyed me." "No," Emma whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks now. "You destroyed yourself." The story didn't end there. The police did arrive that night. But when Richard presented his accusations, the officers examined the documents Emma carried. They confirmed the transfer was legitimate. Richard's fury turned to disbelief, then to despair. In the days that followed, the media erupted with headlines. "America's richest billionaire loses empire to former maid." "Blackwell fortune reassigned. Secret will revealed." "Servant becomes heiress. The maid who took it all." Richard's empire crumbled. Board members abandoned him, investors pulled out, and his once loyal friends vanished. The mighty billionaire became a man stripped of power, wealth, and pride. And Emma? She did not move into his shoes with arrogance. Instead, she used the fortune for the causes Harold Blackwell had always valued: charity, education, justice for the poor. She became a symbol of hope, the maid who turned into a legend. But for Richard, the words haunted him forever. "I didn't betray you. You betrayed yourself." And so the question remains, what became of the maid in the end? She became the very woman his father trusted most, the one who carried out justice when Richard could not. But what about you? Do you trust the servants in your own home? Do you know what secrets they keep, what truths they might one day reveal? Listen to this story carefully, because what happened to Richard Blackwell could happen to anyone blinded by pride, greed, and arrogance.